So if you haven't seen, which you probably should have by now, Pixar just dropped the teaser trailer for Inside Out 2, and it's pretty crazy. I would definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And overall, it shows us a ton of new stuff. We even get introduced to a new emotion. We get to finally see what's going on with that whole puberty button that was kind of hinted at the end of the first Inside Out. And the animation looks great. It looks very snappy. It kind of reminds me of Turning Red a little bit. I love the aesthetic and everything and how it looks like it's slightly improved, but they really didn't change the animation too much from the original. It's just great. I feel like we're back in 2015 again. But I'm gonna be honest, this movie does worry me a little bit. And it's not even just this movie I'm worried for, but just Pixar in general going into next year. Because if you haven't heard, Pixar announced some pretty disappointing news recently that their next film that was supposed to come out in March, called Elio, is actually being delayed. And this isn't just like a small delay, they're actually delaying this until June of 2025, which is crazy because we're going to be having to wait a long time for this now. And when I heard the news that they delayed Elio, it was pretty crazy because they actually just released a trailer not even that long ago. So I mean, for all we know, we could not even be getting Inside Out 2 this June, and they could delay that movie too, which I really hope doesn't happen, but you know, anything's possible. And yeah, overall, I'm really upset about that, but I thought that maybe I would just focus on the positive rather than the negative. Anyway, I feel like Inside Out 2 could go either way. It could either be really good or it could be really bad. I can't really tell just by going off this one trailer. And I really want to think positively about it, but I'm worried that it'll have what I call Turning Red syndrome. Not to say that Turning Red is a bad movie, because obviously I've given it a lot of praise in the past and I've said great things about it, and I really do love Turning Red. It has a great story structure, pacing, character development, everything you could want. But the one thing that I don't like about Turning Red is its theme. And I actually don't even agree with the theme, to be honest. It's basically about accepting another side of yourself, which in itself isn't a bad message, but I don't like the way it's portrayed through Panda May, because she just comes off as really rude, obnoxious, and disrespectful. I feel like Turning Red could have had at least a decent message, but I feel like the problem with it is that it's basically telling the audience to accept another part of themselves, while also showing a 13-year-old girl that goes from being a really respectable kid to someone that's obnoxious and rude, and it doesn't really make any sense because it's like, what are you trying to tell the audience here? So yeah, I really don't know what they were going for with that. But anyway, my fear is that Inside Out 2 will end up having that same message. Especially since the new emotion that they revealed is anxiety. Like, of all the emotions, like, it could have been anything else and they choose anxiety. And I get that it ties into the whole puberty theme, but it does kind of just say something about the direction this movie's going in. And I just don't want to see another movie where it's a 13-year-old girl going through that same experience of the awkwardness and all that. I feel like it would have been much better if they just had her be somewhere in between the range of like 15 to 18, so she could at least be more mature and she's a more relatable character. Because I feel like we already closed that chapter of her life in the first Inside Out. It would be much better if it just goes from her being a 12-year-old to her being 15, 16, 17, something like that, to where she's maybe in high school or about to like graduate from high school. I just don't want to see another movie where she's going through the stages of middle school. It's not that I don't like the idea of them deciding to explore her early teenage years. I would have just rather seen her life through the lens of being a little bit older. And I do think they should definitely show that at some point in the future, because I think there's a lot of potential for a third and even a fourth movie. So as long as they're planning to do that at some point in the future, I'm fine with this. And it does kind of just feel like the natural continuation of the first movie. Anyway, what do you guys think of this trailer? Are you excited for the movie? Do you have any concerns? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and bye!